You're listening to Money FM 89.3, and it's now time for Under the Radar with me, Chua Tian Tian. Now, what comes to mind when you hear the phrase prepare for a rainy day? How about insurance? Well, in fact, we're going to deep dive into the insurance sector today with Singlife, which is also formerly known as Singlife with Aviva. Now, the company, which is backed by TPG and Japanese insurer Sumitomo Life Insurance, has been on an expansion drive since it obtained its license in Singapore 5 years ago. Now, in particular, it's setting its sights on assets in the under-tapped markets of Indonesia and Vietnam. But the question really is how much potential is in the two markets? Also, the Singapore based company said last year that it is looking towards an IPO within 5 years. But what's the status right now? Now, for more, let's speak to Pearlyn Phau, Group CEO at Singlife. Well, Pearlyn, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
And so, Pearlyn, before we get started proper, appreciate it if you could share with us more about Singlife, your business model, as well as your positioning in the insurance sector.
Sure. I think at the heart of everything that we do, we try to find a better way for our customers to achieve financial freedom. And we are always looking for better ways to really serve our customers, support the community, and protect the planet. Today, we serve circa over 1 million customers in Singapore. And how do we do this? Really, it's at the heart of everything, really providing the right products and solutions to serve our customers, and also making sure that we tailor-made this for the right segments. At this point in time, we have around 1,004 financial advisors who are on the ground really committed to putting the needs of our customers first. At the same time, to support the entire ecosystem, we also have an operational team of around 1,600 employees in Singapore, and we have been consistently bringing in both homegrown talents as well as global talent to really reinforce the teams in terms of in the areas of e-commerce, customer experience, design, technology, and innovation. If you look at where we think the growth potentials will be, at least for the company where we will be focusing on. This year, we've really mapped out 3 high potential areas. First and foremost, I think we really want to make sure that we expand and offer stronger products to our customers, and also smart bundling across an integrated platform of insurance and investments. Secondly, one of the key drivers for us really is also to pioneer innovative health partnerships with healthcare providers, because we are looking for stronger integration and also cost optimization. This is something that's very important at the heart of insurers, right? And that is really recognizing that the cost of healthcare is on the rise, and customers more and more are looking for comprehensive health offerings. And the last area, amongst other things, really, is we do believe that the investment and the insurance conversations should be one and not separate conversations. So to this end, we are actually in the midst of revamping our financial advisory platform that's called Navigator, because we're really looking to expand our differentiated products and also curate product offerings for our customers.
Right, and speaking of expansion and speaking of doubling down on your efforts, I also want to find out about your rebranding and the rationale behind it, because Singlife was formerly known as Singlife with Aviva after the company acquired Aviva back in 2020. So, to what extent is the rebranding or renaming a bit to focus on your home market or to focus on your core business?
Well, Singlife of today is really the culmination of a merger, right, between Aviva and Singlife. And our objective really is to bring the best of both worlds together. So if you look at Singlife, it has, the legacy of really a dynamic digital offering with a very strong technology platform. And at the same time, we have Aviva, really, who has been in Singapore for more than 40 years, with a big customer base and a very comprehensive suite of financial products. And bringing the two together really will allow us to be a lot more nimble and a lot more agile. With the deal construct, we won't be able to use the Aviva brand name by the end of this year. We've been spending a lot of effort really to rebuild the brand and introduce Singlife as a progressive insurer and financial services company in Singapore for the better part of last year. And the rebranding efforts are continuing into this year. So we've decided to go ahead and really work on establishing ourselves as a homegrown insurer branded as Singlife from the start of 2023.
Right. And well, Pearlyn, I do want to zoom in on your operations in Singapore. As you mentioned, you guys are headquartered here as well. Singlife recently renewed several contracts with a number of government agencies. So tell us more about that, and how important are such contracts for Singlife in ensuring a steady revenue stream And how much of your income really is driven by such contracts?
We are really, really very proud and very chuffed that we were once again appointed as the official insurer for the Ministry of Defense and also the Ministry of Home Affairs, taking effect at the start of this year. This means that we are providing life and personal accident insurance for all MINDEF and MHA personnel. The tender hasn't been a walk in the park. It's clearly very competitive. And a lot of people within the Singlife family have come together to make sure that we provide the best and most comprehensive offering and the best pricing, of course, for our defenders and their families. And you may have seen our ad. We're really very honored to be protecting Singapore's protectors. On top of that, this contract is a renewal. We've been actually partners with MINDEF and MHA for over 40 years. So, the continuation of the partnership really is testimony to how strong our proposition is to MHA and MINDEF. Of course, on top of that, we also have the public officers group insurance program, which protects public officers and their loved ones till they are 75 years old. For us, every partnership is important. In this particular case, clearly it resonates with every Singaporean, especially every Singaporean parent that may have a son going into the national service. So for us, it's of strategic importance, and every partnership brings different value to the company. So we don't really just look at it in terms of revenue and profitability.
Right, and talk about, you mentioned that the tender for such contracts is not a walk in the park, and I'm sure a lot of thought and effort goes into it. What would you say is your competitive advantage compared to your competitors, for instance, or the people also going for this particular tender?
I think first and foremost, I think it's the familiarity that we have with MINDEF and with MHA. We've been partners for so many years. We've established integrated systems, the way of doing work processes as well. I think we've also proven ourselves in the last 40 years to really rise to the challenge and be there when we are needed and do more, as well as provide value added services and products to MINDEF as well as MHA and their personnel. In this round, I'm sure, right, that for MINDEF, it is important for them to also go through a very vigilant and robust selection process, which is why it was not something that happened overnight. We actually worked together for a better part of a year to really understand each other's needs and how we can be progressive as well. So I want to say it goes beyond just pricing. It also is understanding the personnel's needs as they go through their life stages and make sure that we have an offering both investment as well as in protection to enable personnel within MINDEF and MHA to progress as they go through their life stages.
Right. And well, Pearlyn, how is Singlife doubling down on such partnerships, be it with government agencies as customers, or be it with, as you mentioned at the start of this interview, with healthcare providers and ensuring that you have a good product offering?
I think it is important in today's world to really go into partnerships. Ecosystem play is a big thing. We no longer can choose where and when to interact with customers. It's really one more of us being where they are, where they choose to interact with us. So I think ecosystem partnerships is strategically a very important thrust for many people and us, as well. Not just in Singapore, but in the region, we are seeking and exploring meaningful partnerships, and we have a team that really is looking out for interesting and strategically meaningful relationships and partnerships for us.
Any idea as to who's on your cards, who's on your target or on your radar?
We're still exploring and we're still looking. It has to
Mm,
be synergistic, right? And I think
yeah.
importantly, we must both parties bring value to the table. There has to be a value exchange.
If you're just tuning in, we're now in conversation with Pearlyn Phau, Group CEO at Singlife. Well, speaking of expansion, speaking of getting more customers, Pearlyn, I understand that Singlife is on a quest to expand and pick up more assets in Indonesia and Vietnam. So help us understand, what opportunities do you see in the two markets, and how can acquisition or buying companies help Singlife overcome regulatory constraints or accelerate your expansion in the two countries?
I think first and foremost, I want to emphasize that we are Singapore incorporated and headquartered, and the Singapore operations will continue to be the core business for us. What we are really looking for is really more supplementary to supplement really our growth story. there's still a lot of opportunities within Singapore that we have not really explored and tapped, and that will continue to be a big focus for us. But that said, we also understand that Singapore is small. And as we look out as into Southeast Asia, there are a lot of opportunities out there in Southeast Asia. Today, we are not just in Singapore. We also have a operations in the Philippines, which is Singlife Philippines. Is a digital life insurance company. So we've actually embarked already on regional expansion, if you will. But when it comes to expansion in Southeast Asia, I think it is meaningful to really be looking for a synergistic partner rather than just flag planting. So we want to be meaningful, and as a result, you will not be seeing us all over in Southeast Asia. But Southeast Asia is important for us because we do believe there is a significant growth driver in terms of global insurance valuation. If you just look at the key fundamentals, right, we are looking at 28 million increase in population in Southeast Asia alone between 2020 to 2025. And with that, there's going to be a 65% increase in middle income population and a 45% increase in wealth pools. But all said and done, less than 5% life insurance coverage. So you can just imagine the immense untapped potential for us. We want to make sure that we get our Singapore operations humming, and be looking for opportunities where we would be in a position to transform for growth in the markets outside of Singapore.
Right. And Pearlyn, what is the number one trend influencing the insurance sector within Southeast Asia right now? And how does it influence the way in which you decide to take the company forward in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
I want to say digitization is an important trend. The reason why I say this is, a lot of us buy insurance, and we all know that it can be onerous. It does involve a lot of paperwork and a lot of documentation. And the world is really, moving into a digital nation. And I think it is upon us to make sure that, we digitize, we automate, we embrace technology in order to meet the needs of the future population. So, when we talk about digitization, I always want to emphasize that it is not just about putting out an app. It really is an end-to-end process of really looking at customer journeys and how do we make it smooth, how do we make it enjoyable, how do we make it hassle-free and painless. And when it comes to financial matters, it can get very technical, and it is really on us to make the journey as smooth as possible. So, for Singlife, we have our DNA in technology and as an insurtech. So what we have been doing and will continue to do is really to look at not just customer journeys, but our financial advisors' journey as well. As they serve their customers, we want to empower them with the right digital tools, with the right digital first interfaces, so that we take away a lot of this paperwork in order for them to have more quality conversations with the customers. So that is something that I do believe that a very big part of the insurance industry is really moving towards. We have seen this happen in the banking industry, and not, the insurance industry is to a certain extent catching up.
Right. And Pearlyn, before we let you go, Pearlyn, I do understand you mentioned last year that you intend to take the company public within 5 years. Is the company on track for that? And what are your immediate plans for Singlife this year?
Um, I think, taking the company public, you can always have a time frame, but you need to have very supportive market conditions as well. Frankly, if we want to go IPO tomorrow, we can start the process. But I think it is important for us to make sure that all stakeholders' interests are being addressed. We do believe that we are on track. A lot still needs to be done, but really it's all about what is the right time with the right conditions. And for this year, like I mentioned, still a lot of work to be done in terms of digitizing all our touch points. We want to really double down on building our omni-channel capabilities. Healthcare is a big focus area for us, and investment and insurance conversations as an integrated offering is also a very big push in for Singlife.
Right. And Pearlyn, to wrap up our conversation, it's International Women's Week, International Women's Day week, in fact, Pearlyn. And we really want to pose this question to you. What is the
Hmm.
value of bringing more women leaders to the insurance sector, and to what extent have they provided an alternative voice on where the sector should go in the longer term?
I think whether it is insurance or any other industry, right? I think first and foremost, it is very critical to bring the right person in for the right job. I don't think I think we will be doing women a gross injustice just to bring in women for the sake of bringing in women. In the past few decades in leadership positions, I've always attempted my best to hire the right person for the right job. It doesn't matter where the person came from, ethnicity, nationality, age, or gender. I think it goes beyond just bringing in women leaders. It really is about bringing people from very different backgrounds, because different perspectives really can build a more comprehensive and robust analytical capabilities when we're looking at profitability or long-term sustainability. If we continue to use the same people with the same lens, you always get the same outcome. So the only message I have is for women in particular to step up, put up your hand when you see an opportunity, and may the best person win, right?
May the best person win. Thanks very much, Pearlyn. Great message there. That was Pearlyn Phau, Group CEO at Singlife. Thank you very much for joining us on Money FM 89.3.
Money FM 89.3.